Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So I know it's a little bit unexpected, or perhaps some people were expecting it. I have no idea. The whole point is that I've actually been getting a lot of feedback these past couple of days, um, and I've been seeing some of the videos come up. I've been, keeping, a sort of interesting eye on the servers that are popping up or the servers that are using some of the resources after they were released. And it's been really fun. It's been really fun and to a certain degree a little bit inspiring. So that's the point of this video right now. The point of the video is that I do want to announce that I'm going to release an update to the resources that I put out. One of the reasons I want to do that is because I'm seeing some of the unfinished content be used in some of the servers, and that's fine. There was never any obligation for me to actually finish that, but it was fun. It was fun seeing people discover the areas, even the ones that were unfinished, and I'd have to probably admit that Northvale is probably the one that sort of bothered me the most because it was the one that was least finished. So what we're going to do right now and today is, number one, I'm announcing that I'm going to release the update to the resources. So that should be coming shortly. As soon as I'm done figuring out some of the minor bugs in the previous release. But the other thing that I want to talk about today as well is I want to talk about the design ideas behind this entire area and how I'm going to not only just do the update to the releases, but I'm also going to plan to release a series of updates. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at that right now, and we won't I won't keep you here listening too much. So what we have here is Nogget, and you'll just be seeing the terrain. And this is Northvale, or the part of Northvale that was the most finished, which is this entire area here. So the town is here. These are the woods. The road down from the back of Stormwind, and you've seen this area. This was the area that was the most finished, I'd say, in the previous release, and all the other areas were not very released, so, or not very finished or polished. So what I have now is an update on what I had worked on and what I have been working on. And again, it's still very rough, but it's a much better state than the original release. So the first area that we're going to take a look at is what used to be, or what still is, the valley. And so here is the valley, and the valley, the idea behind it was to have, these fields that had been bulldozed and rolled over by the Horde during the First War, and sort of have that as a testament to the past. But after I started thinking about the area and trying to redesign it, I figured that up to this point there would be many years would have passed, so a lot of the things would have recovered and sort of regrown and look a little bit more messy. So it's that was the idea behind it. And the other idea is that there would be a significant scar coming from what I'm calling and referring to as the Blackrock Gates in through this area, because it would be where the Horde had come through, cut down all the trees in the woods, trampled the ground. And so this would be the area that would be filled with ruins, equipment that's degrading, and it would still be kind of suffering from that initial war. but also because there's still some Blackrock orc presence in the area, and Stormwind has patrols in this area as well, and is constantly engaging in skirmishes with the Blackrock orcs. So here we have what I think I decided to call the ruins of Stormshire, just because in the RPG book that makes a reference to this area, it calls it as the Stormwind region, which is that the capital is Stormwind City. So if Northvale is this town that's here, or if it's called the entire region Northvale, this would have to be the ruins of Stormshire, which would be a sort of medium-sized town, completely ruined, served as sort of a battlefield between human and orcs. The Alliance now and Stormwind has a base in this area, while the Blackrock orcs have been pushed back into this tower here. But you will still find them, wargs, and all other sorts of mobs in this scar. So let's move to the next area. The next area is what I'm calling the Blackrock Gates. And so there was nothing here before. These were just mountains. There was, I think, the flight path. One flight path takes you through here. But this was essentially just mountainous, craggly areas. And I decided that it would be nice to have sort of a orcish citadel, a Blackrock citadel there. And I don't want to say too much, but I do have bigger plans for this area of what I want to redesign and change. And trust me, it'll be fun. The next area that we're going to take a look at, and this is the largest area, and it's not really there yet. I haven't really touched it much since the first release. But it's this entire area here. And as you can see, this here is like all the texturing is very temporary, very work in progress. Same with the actual settlement itself. The idea is to make the settlement not look gross. It's just to make it look natural and perhaps a little bit overgrown. And the idea is that this is the Barbarian zone. Barbarians between quotation marks. Because it was a way of trying to figure out how you could give yourself a classic RPG, fur and leather wearing, axe wielding barbarian in the universe of Warcraft. And so that's the area that we designed. The lore that's behind this is essentially this was a slave camp for very young humans that were captured and that survived and that were strong enough to be put to work by the Blackrock orcs. And sometime after the end of the Second War, there was a rebellion. The humans who had essentially been brought up in this system by the orcs overthrow them. And they take over the settlement. They don't reunite with Stormwind because they would have a grudge of Stormwind not rescuing them, even though it's a bit more complicated than that. So that's the idea behind that area, and that's another zone. The following zone that we're going to take a look at is what I'm going to call the Dwarven Pass, though the Dwarven Pass would technically just be the mountain area, but it would also include this area here. So the things that we have, obviously we have the Dwarven Pass coming from Dun Moreau, and that's been revised, and I still have some more details to add to that. And then we have, in the middle here, we have a Dwarven Post. So there is a small Dwarven, at least like outlook or lookouts in this area. Over here we have sort of a half-abandoned camp. There's a lot of logging equipment here, and this area has all been cut down. So it could be whatever. It could be an abandoned logging camp. It could be a temporary hunting lodge for hunters. Whatever you want is possible from that. There's also a small farming village in the intersection between sort of like the Dwarven Pass and the valley, and also crossing into the Northvale region there as well. So I don't have a name for it. It'll probably be Something's Crossing. Just because it makes sense. So I need to take a look at some of some of the RPG elements and see if I can make any lore-related connections to whatever that name might want to be. And that's it. So essentially, what the way that I want to do this is I want to work on each zone as I release an update for the patch. And this is going to be the sort of first experiment in releasing content that's not finished while people are actively using it. So we'll see how that goes. But one of the first things that I want to do is I want to finish some details in Northvale, and I want to finish some details in the Dwarven Pass. And that's going to be the update. You'll get everything that you're currently seeing here, plus a couple of updates to the other parts of the mod as well. So don't worry, like files that were missing, those I'll take care of those. There's been some slight modifications in the Quelimon area. There's been some updates in the Stormguard area as well. But essentially, you'll get these two areas, and you'll get this as it currently stands. The following patch, I'll call it, will be, I think, the Blackrock gates. The reason why is I've been working on the autumn stuff for a while right now, and I'm a little bit fed up, so I want to try something a little bit different, a little bit more fun, and I've got some clear ideas of what I want to do with this area. It could potentially serve as just an outdoor area. It could potentially be an outdoor dungeon, because it's going to be big enough that it could be a dungeon. So that is coming up, and that'll be the next patch after the following patch. And after that, I'll probably work in the I'm going to work in the in this area here, the Barbarian area, to try and finish that off, which will involve cleaning up this volcano-ish area here, cleaning up the forests, finishing the details on the Barbarian town. And also, I think it would be fair that because I would be working with the Barbarians, that I finish the Barbarian camps that were destined for mobs, right? So we have one over here. We had one camp. We're going to have another camp here of Barbarians, which are not allied race or factions. They're just mobs. And there's going to be a larger encampment of mobs here, with potentially one important mob being in this structure. Again, that's all server side, but I'm just giving you ideas. This area here, I would like it to reflect the transition, because it's not blighted land. It's land that's essentially being dried out or burnt out because of its proximity to this area. So I need to work on that. This is probably the least developed portion of the map, and so we'll work on that. The last one that I didn't mention, but it's right here, and this is the snowy part, which is essentially the back of the Barbarian town. And I have some ideas of what I'm going to do with this area, or at least the type of mobs that I expect to be putting here, which are going to be the, what are they called? The ice trolls. Am I misremembering? Yes, but the the ones that are in the mountain, we'll put them here because, well, while reading some of the RPG lore on the Stormwind area, it said that it had the dire wolves that had escaped from the Black Rocks after they lost in the war, forest trolls, and ogres. So ogre mounds we have one ogre mound here, and we have another one here. These probably belonging more appropriately to the Dark Horde because they're allied with the Black Rocks, and this one potentially just being just random ogres. Despite the fact that they're not forest trolls, because this area is ice, they should be the same type of trolls that are present here. So we'll make an extension of trolls there. I don't think that I will be able to add forest trolls. For a second, I thought it might be cool to see like a small little forest troll village, and instead of them, having the pine needles for roofs, that they could have, the red leaves of this zone. But I just don't see space for it right now. I mean, I guess anything is potentially possible. There is some space here, but then they're very close to the Blackrock Gate, so I don't want that. I would want them to be more independent, but I don't think that's going to happen. So for the time being, you're going to get all of this in the following release, and that'll be a big upgrade to what I released a while back. And yep, I'm going to continue doing that. For all of you who actually do use the patch, and if you notice errors, just come onto the Discord and let me know that there's some issue that's popping up. And hopefully we'll get it all taken care of. So until next time, where I'll probably report a little bit more on where we're at, take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.